Hi everyone, masofdas here, and we're looking at my best games of 2019 and a few other bits. We're going to first talk about my service of the year. We're going to do some honourable sort of mentions, and it goes to Game Pass. A couple of games on my top. It's actually a top 8. It can actually get to 10 games I played because of Game Pass and via Game Pass. I didn't win by default. You might be thinking that. PlayStation Now improved this year, had like God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn come to it. They upped the price and stuff of it, so and it got better. Apple Arcade came out this year. I used that for a bit on Apple TV. That I bought pretty good. I just got distracted. It's just trying to get another system on top of the system, and then you had Stadia come out this year, which isn't really a service as you don't pay like a subscription, but there's no hardware involved unless you want the controller and the Chromecast like I've got. So I don't really know where you put that. But Game Pass by far in the lead of that. So we move on to VR Game of the Year. That goes to Blood and Truth. I've not finished it. I haven't actually played as much VR as I wanted to. Going back to like the Apple Arcade stuff. Just another system on top of like the main systems you play. Even though I've got it set up now that PSVR will be pretty much pick up and play. Maybe this year when Iron Man VR comes out, I'll have like a spare where I'll play a bunch of VR. But what I did play made things like climbing a ladder really interesting in VR and stuff like that. Next we have remake or remastered of the year, and that goes to Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening on the Switch. Really good, really fun. Goes back to traditional Zelda, so it's what I really want. Not played Link's Awakening before on the Game Boy, so to me it's like a brand new game. So really good, and really enjoyed that. And then we're going to go to worst game of the year, and that's Where the Bees Make Honey. You might be asked, why did I play this? It was really cheap on Xbox. I think it was down to like $1.99 or like £1.50, and it was an easy 1000G, and I played that. Actually, it's got some decent ideas and the premise of the story in that. It's just really badly executed. I think one person made it as well, so it's like, you don't want to be like, that one person made this game. Like, I can't make a game. I can't put a game on the Xbox store, but yeah, it's a weird one, but it's the worst game I played this year. And now we're going to move into the top 8. We're going to look at the top sort of 7 first in alphabetical order, and then we'll get to the overall game of the year, which will be the last game on this list. So anyway, the first game of the year, of my top game, is A Plague Tale: Innocence. An odd one, because Plague Tale sort of goes back to old school game design. It's got no multiplayer, no DLC, no online stuff, and that is just a game sort of thing, and it's really good. Like the graphics, the story, the voice acting, and that. I can guess it would put some people off that it's like, when it came out it was a 40 quid game, and now you can get a lot 40 or 40 quid within gaming. And that if you really look again, if you go back to Game Pass, you pay 10 quid a month and you can get some big games for that. So I can kind of get the value argument of that, but it is really good, and if you can pick it up, I would really recommend it. And then next one is Control, very similar to A Plague Tale, just a single player focused game. It is getting DLC. It seems like it's going to get some substantial DLC. This has some free content at the moment, and there's semi sort of rumours it's coming to Game Pass, like Phil Spencer said it was, then Remedy is saying, no, we've got nothing to announce, but I would think it comes to that. So again, if you got that service, it'd be worth playing through that, and maybe how I go back to it and play the DLC. Then it's got Far Lone Sales. You might be going, well, this came out in 2018, not 2019. It came to consoles in 2019, so I'm going to count it. And it's not like, take the Switch for instance, when it got Final Fantasy 9, that's like a 20-year-old game when it came out. It's like 3-4 months later it comes to consoles, sort of thing. Again, it's really good indie. No one really talked about it. It was only brought up to me to the computer game show it was on their Game of the Year talk last year, so it would have been the 2018 one when they played it on PC. And then I bought it as soon as it came to consoles, January. The year just gone. Really good. Side-scrolling, indie, and stuff. Really worth checking out if you can. Now we get to Fire Emblem Three Houses. This is my Nintendo Game of the Year. Really good. I've only done the one route, which was the starting with the Black Eagles and going through that school. Really good stuff. It doesn't lean too heavily into like the romance stuff and anything like that. The Awakening and stuff had. It's much more about the whole game. It has got some problems with it, but it is the best game I played on the Switch this year. Then the next one is Gears 5. So again, when I was saying a few Game Pass games would be on this list, and Gears 5 is one of them. There's something nearly didn't put on the list. Again, I only got a top 8. I've done a top 10, and then a couple of games I would just put on here just to make up the numbers. This one barely made it. I just thought 8 was a better than 7. It's just on the cusp. Again, the single player was good. The new open worldy sort of bits were interesting. Multiplayer, what I played was fun. Escape, a new mode, and that. It was a good, it was a good game, very good game. But would be, if I was ranking these in order, it would be the lowest one on this list. Then we come to the RPG of the year, so better than Fire Emblem in that sense, and like the multi-platform game of the year. So if you only have an Xbox, you want to check this out. If you have a PlayStation, check this out. It is coming to Switch and it is on PC, and that's Outer Worlds. Really good. Wasn't a fan of Fallout 3. Never played New Vegas. People now actually saying I would kind of like New Vegas, especially after this. Outer Worlds from Obsidian. Really good characters. The companion quests are really fun. Reminds me of Mass Effect. Even reminds me of Firefly or Serenity. What you call that with the characters. Different characters on there, and obviously you were a spaceship and that. Really good. Another game, like I said, come to Game Pass. So that's the thing. And then the last one before we get to the overall game of the year is Sayonara Wild Hearts. I actually played this through Apple Arcade, and I played it on Switch as well. Not much difference between the two. Looked a bit better on Switch than the Apple Arcade TV I found, but it might be due because it's a mobile game running on the thing. Actually, would win best mobile game because I'm pretty sure it is on mobile. Even though I've not played it on that. And I also would give it soundtrack of the year. Basically, the whole game's premise is a soundtrack, where you sort of playing an album, if that makes sense. So you got these like 20 songs on an album, and this is what those songs would be like if you actually had to play them in a video game form instead of just listening to them. Really good, really worth checking out, and it's on like all systems apart from Xbox, I believe. Yeah, really good. If you can check that out. Then we're getting to my game of the year, and you may have guessed it if you've ever followed my Twitter or you know me. I spoke to games before, but my overall game of the year and my PlayStation game of the year is Death Stranding. Absolutely fantastic. It actually gave Sayonara Wild Heart a run for its money in terms of soundtrack. How the soundtrack is incorporated to that game is phenomenal, and everything about it. People will say it's just a walking simulator, but it's so much more than that. It's more like an infantry management game in some ways, and how you manage your infantry and how you're going to tackle your destination, and then obviously the story, the cinematics, the voice acting more in this, with like the acting with a lot of the characters lending their likenesses to the game. It is very cinematic. I know that will put people off on the game, but it's very different. There's nothing else like Death Stranding, which is its most positive aspect, and it's also its negative aspects for some, because it's kind of bonkers in the Kojima sort of way. and if you're playing it, it's not going to be like a traditional game. But again, that's positive because it's doing something different when no other game do, and obviously take the risk with it. Yeah, so that's by far my favourite game of the year, which you might even be tell how I'm even talking about it now. If you can play it, I would, maybe due to the weirdness of it, wait for a sale if you really must. But then that's it. That is my games of 2019. Hope you enjoyed this video. I've been masofdas, and I'll see you again.